Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the European Network of Research Infrastructure and Industry for collaboration for inviting me here at this webinar. I'm sorry I cannot be here with you today. However, I believe that the network goal is very important to improve the field. So I didn't want to miss the opportunity to bring my very small contribution, and this is why I propose to record my presentation. However, if you have any question or do you want to contact me at the end of this presentation, please, you will find my contact detail, or you just go on the website and you will find everything. So our mission at FRESCI is to take science to society, to really boost the research and development process and transform this solution into innovation and try to make a change in everyday life of all the peoples. So trying to really boost what the scientists are doing in our university, in our research infrastructure, and really trying to take this solution into a market that's sometimes even not ready for this kind of solution. So this is why we also need this kind of business view. But why this is important, why our work, and of course the others from the network and the other speaker is very important. Because, as you may know, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said at the opening ceremony of the European Innovation Council that Europe is a powerhouse in science, but while we are good at making science with money, we need to get better at making money out of science. And I believe this resume and summarize everything that makes sense and why we need people that are working in this interface between academic and science production and results and industry and the market. So how we do this at FRESCI? We have a network-based approach. So after we map all the different stakeholders, we try to get all the people together, the relevant one, to get their view and trying to understand really which are the drivers and the buyers. So this is very, very important. So in our case, our team is working on the different kind of people and different kind of stakeholders that we interact with. And our team, which is Dr. Rossi, one of our representatives, together with Dr. Vanesta, Engineer Solano, Dr. Escasana, and as you know, I'm the manager of this great team. So I'm very happy to present them. Our business services are around 4 big areas. So our scientific expertise, which is targeting very specific areas like neuroscience, regenerative medicine, stem cell technology, ATMPs, advanced new approach methodology, immuno-oncology, and tissue engineering. These are the area of expertise where we work and we usually operate. And in this area, we of course provide business services, especially business analytics and strategy, usually to create business plan, but also we create policy and regulatory support. So we also do independent science sector studies, for example, to understand the legal framework, but also which is, let's say, the trends in the market, but also in the scientific work. And of course, thanks to all this knowledge and all our partners, we also can create collaborative projects at European or international level, providing idea, partnering, but also communication, dissemination, and the exploitation services. When they ask me about our relationship with research institutions, so we have 2 big kind of relationship. So sometimes the industry asks us to get in contact with research institutions that we know or that are active in our field, or sometimes the same research institution is our client. So when we are asked to contact the research institution, so usually we target high-level people. Usually, if it's university, you have the vice decane office that usually is in charge of innovation, or if technology transfer office is in place and is very operative, we also get in contact with them, their chief transfer officer. So why usually the industry got in contact with us? Usually because they would like to have a market study to validate their internal developments, to find experts, of course, to have independent technology evaluation. We also create brokerage events to analyze all the value chains at the different stage of innovation, for example, to create them, if they are smaller, usually, a scientific strategy, or trying to get involved in a scientific collaboration to further develop in something that they already have, or sometimes they just would like to have our data analysis services or our statistical services. So these are the main reasons why the industry got in contact with us and why we then target the research institution. So that there are different pros and cons. I mean, the pros, as you may know, and I mean, this is why this is very, very important to collaborate research institution, is because researchers have a very specific and deep expertise in their field, and also they can offer a scientific and technical advising. I mean, we are talking about very scientific and technical. We're not thinking about a business strategy, which is something that we provide. But which are the cons? So we have worked with very big institutions at national level, so governmental institution, but also, university. So these do not apply to all our clients, but these are examples of things that can be improved, for example. So in many, many cases, we found that there are very few ILOs. So there are very few industry license officer. And when you have ILOs there, they have different degree of experience, which makes really difficult to interact with them. And maybe they have a very good background in science, but in very specific area and not in the area that you are looking for. So this makes that their vision of the field, it's different from yours. The big problem sometimes is the time of reaction. And the time of reaction means that when we contact them and we would like to start the conversation, this takes a lot of time. When we start the conversation, we would like, to really have a legal agreement, then also takes a lot of time, which usually does not fit with the industry timing. So, and I believe that this time of reaction, as I said, it's not a general, but these are some examples, is due, for example, that there are a lack of established legal collaboration protocols, for example, with industry. There's a lack of communication or a misunderstanding between what the scientist has to do and their own administration. Administrative bureaucracy, which is fine. We can serve this bureaucracy a lot of the time, but every single institution has very different protocols. A bureaucracy and also the administration are not always skilled to work with industry or consulting firms. And the other part is price. So all the research institutions that they have external services, of course, they have a very clear price list. But sometimes you interact or you ask for services, for service that they are not really, in their institutionalized, let's say, or integrated in this institution. So then for them takes a lot of time to calculate the price. So these are the most difficult part, usually when we target is research institution. So as a research institution can be our client. So they contact us usually to build, of course, international consortia for projects, for business or scientific strategy, also to build spin-off and startups, and of course to create also for these spin-off and startups or for service that they would like to offer. They would like to have financial viability studies. This is something that we do a lot. But also dissemination strategy planning, business planning, transfer IPR to industry, because they may have a lot of patents, they have a patent portfolio, but they do not have the contact with industry. So this happens, for example, for some university, they do not have a very established collaboration or tech transfer office. Or they have, as I said before, very few ILOs in their tech transfer office, or maybe they do not know the very specific field. Then, of course, we have, scientific collaboration and technical services. These are the different reasons why they got in contact with us. I would say that pros is that we learn a lot, so we can have a state-of-the-art knowledge of that specific sector. And of course, we also can expand our network of experts. So this is very, very important. So which are the cons? Of course, if you have a big contract with them, you have to apply through a public tender. So that's why we got skills a lot in public tendering, because that's the only way you can access to provide these kind of services. On the other way, when they also have a public tender, sometimes they have no strategy, business, or dissemination plan. So they really do not know which is the very aim of their specific service, or what they are looking for in a more, let's say, logic and planned way in the long term. There's a lack of knowledge of the real research and service cost. They really do not know how much does it cost what they're doing in the research. There are some cases where you can find very well-structured things, but most of the time we find that we have to rebuild all, let's say, the economic statement of the research and trying to have, a cost analysis very, very well. Then there's a lack of experience in working with consulting firms, and of course, as I said, administrative bureaucracy. But the lack of experience in working with consulting firms that they are providing different kind of services, such those I told you before, it's also sometimes in kind of naive. There are people that are asking just to, do this service for free, which is of course something you cannot do, but also that they are expecting very, very low fee, for example, when you are going to sell a patent to a pharma company. So these are, as I said, very small example of what we found. So they also asked me for this webinar to tell you why do we participate in partnering events. Okay, we usually do not participate in partnering events. We create partnering events and brokerage events, for example, in a private session in the very specific sector that I presented to you before, where we, let's say, operate and we know most of the relevant people. But sometimes when we are looking for a very specific expertise or we like to benchmark a specific sector or expand our network in a very specific market, then we participate in partnering events. And there's, I would say, an unexpected benefit to participate in these events, which is the serendipity, because you know someone or some company or some research group you didn't know before, or the other way around, they know you because you may know. I mean, sometimes they do not know you, and sometimes very nice collaboration can happen. And this is something that it's not, it's not a minor thing, but actually sometimes we just go there for fun to see if something happened, something new, to stimulate ourselves also to, different kind of areas. So this is very, very important. So these are our personal experience as FRESCI in our team and our, personal also view of the field at the moment. So we believe really that, training allies and let's say create a very professional interface between business, industry, and academia or research institution. It's very, very important, because this is the only way that really we can improve the impact of science, and we really can take innovation and really innovative solution into the society and try to really make a change, especially in the biomed sector where we operate, in the health sector where we operate, because this is really the only way. There's really a big need of very specific and professionalized let's say consultants or people that are in the interface between science and business, because everyone, I believe, should be a kind of translator. But scientists must do their job. Industry has its own role in the society, but then we need to improve this communication, the interchange, especially the effective interchange between these two worlds. So, as I said, I'm very happy to be here, and please, if you have any question, just drop me an email. I will be very, very happy to answer you. So, once again, thank you, and enjoy this webinar session with the next speakers. So, bye, and nice to meet you all.